collectors, and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at the Ghostbusters Ecto-1 1984 version from Hasbro. This is technically still part of the Plasma Series. I know we haven't had anything Plasma Series related in quite some time. There was absolutely no offerings for Frozen Empire, but it does say Plasma Series. Very, very tiny here in white underneath the Ecto-1. Now, this was shown off at WonderCon about a month ago, and it's going to be compatible with a line of 3 3/4 inch O-ring Ghostbusters that I believe are supposed to come out around September. I don't know why they didn't come out at the same time. That seems kind of weird to me. There was kind of no warning. This just showed up on Hasbro Pulse one day, and so I grabbed it right away because I'm very excited about it. But it'll be kind of torture to wait, almost 5 months or so for the Ghostbusters that'll be compatible with this. I thought that was kind of strange. But looking at the packaging here, really nice picture artwork here of the Ecto-1 flying out of the firehouse here. And Hasbro, if you're listening, I would absolutely love a firehouse playset to be compatible with this and the 3 3/4 inch figures. That would be fantastic. Up top, we get one picture of the Ecto-1 with the Ghostbusters logo. It's Ecto-1 1984. And again, Plasma Series. Very tiny there underneath. Not really anything going on the bottom here. Over here on the side, just kind of, again, artwork of the Ecto-1 coming out of the firehouse. And then here is the back end of the Ecto-1. And then spinning it around to the back shows off some of the features. It says movable parts. I guess that's just the doors opening. 1984 inspired detailing. And then it says slide out gurney, so that all their proton packs will fit onto this. So pretty cool. You also have this crazy like GM holofoil kind of thing going on there, which is kind of neat. So I think that's lenticular. Is that what they say? In any case, I'm going to go ahead and get this out of the packaging here, and we'll take a closer look. So here it is out of the packaging. Now there is a minor bit of assembly required. Mostly this cage piece pegs into the roof, and then you have to peg in these blue cables. Part of it pegs in here, and then there are two pegs for these up here. This piece pegs in. I don't know why these are so curved, but that's how it just is. That's how it's meant to be. This little piece here pegs in. This little piece here pegs in. Over on this side, the ladder pegs in, and then this little piece pegs in and then pegs in up there. So it's pretty simple. There are no directions with this. I will say that. I was expecting there to be some kind of directions for the assembly in the box. There weren't. I don't know if that was just something they missed on mine, or they just kind of assumed you could figure it out. It's honestly not too difficult to figure out on its own. It's just kind of lining up the pegs and things like that. Plus, you can just kind of look at the box. But yeah, I think it looks good. Really nice and stark white, as you can see. You have the blue translucent plastic up here for the light bars. The paint, I think, looks pretty sharp. You got a Ghostbusters symbol here on each side. Looking very nice. The front here looks great. You got the Ecto-1 license plate going on there. All of the silver detailing here for the kind of grate area and the windshield wipers, along with these stripes here and the logo here on the front. That's all looking very sharp. So I think the paint applications, look pretty nice. And I'm very excited that this is going to be compatible with those 3 3/4 inch figures, because it's my favorite scale, and I think this is a really nice looking Ecto-1 here. Now, in terms of play features, the door on this side can open. So this just kind of opens up to about there. And you have some nice detailing here, paint applications for the handle and everything. The panels over here on the side of the door, that's really nice. You can see the steering wheel inside. Does this turn? No, okay, so the steering wheel does not turn. I'll see if I can get a little bit closer so you can see the steering wheel in there. If we come around to the other side, and I will point out this door on this side, the passenger door on the back or the front of the driver's side, does not open. But coming around to the other side, and there's not really a fantastic way, like you can't really grab onto the door handles. They are painted very nicely in silver metallic paint, but you kind of have to just kind of get a nail in here to open this up. And then again, you have the nice paint detailing here on the side of the door. And then over here, not too much going on. I wish I could show this a little better. It's not really any kind of... There's the tiniest little bit, and I'm not going to be able... Let me see if I can... So you can see there's the tiniest little bit of detailing in there. Some of these little knobs are painted, and there's a little bit of detailing on there. It's kind of hard to get light in there to see, but There's just the tiniest little bit of paint applications there on the dashboard on the inside. So continuing on, this back door does open. So we can, once again, not a great way to open it, but you can kind of get like a nail in here. I wish that there was a nice, clear, easy way. I guess, could I push it from the inside? No, not really. I mean, I know they're going for realism and there wouldn't be big handles on the side, but it's really kind of hard to get these open. But I promise it does open. I don't want to come at it from the top because there's some really nice silver paint around the window. There we go. Okay, so this one will open, and they kind of like pull out a little bit so that they can open up. And once again, you have the nice detailing here. And then we have 2 seats on this one, which is nice. Now, they are facing each other, so there's 1 seat here and 1 seat here kind of recessed in there. And then you can see there's some equipment there, which is kind of cool. So you can see some of that. You can see a little bit of the gurney, which we'll get into in a moment, but you have a seat here and a seat here. So with the 2 in the front, you should be able to fit all 4 Ghostbusters, which is really nice. I'm looking forward to that. And then you kind of pop this back in, and we'll close these up. So you can see how they kind of like, you have to kind of push this in, and then it closes up. But it works. So we'll close up this one as well. And then we can take a look here at the back. So nice Ghostbuster logo here on the back. Got the Ecto-1 license plate. Really nice paint applications here on the inside of the taillights. And then, of course, you have the Telltale red fin, which has some nice silver paint. Translucent backlights here as well. So that's all really cool. Then we can go ahead and open this up. And they give you a little bit of a recessed area so you can get this one open. It's really not too bad. So that you kind of pull it out a little bit, and then you slide it open. And you can see the gurney here. So the gurney just slides out. And the gurney's pretty simplistic, but I think it works pretty well. So you fold this down, you can see that these other supports will pop out. And then there is a spot for all 4 of their proton packs. And this rolls pretty well. And let me see if I have a figure I can use. Here, we'll use this. This will be somewhat similar because this is a G.I. Joe O-ring figure from the short time that Hasbro was reproducing these. So just for an idea of scale, this is about as big as they should be, the Ghostbuster figures. So you can see scale pretty well here to the gurney, and I think that works really well. And you have, again, nice detailing and paint here on the inside of the door. If we take a look at the inside, you can see, again, you can see the 2 seats off to the side. You can see some more of the equipment here. And then I'm not really sure what these are over here. Maybe just some more equipment pieces that they're storing there. But I also like how there's kind of a track here for the gurney. So how this works is you pop this in, and you might have to push these in a little bit, but when you hit, this will fold up. And then the other one will fold up as well. And then there's like a little track. You can kind of see the 2 little indentations there for the wheels. And then it also kind of hits so it won't just naturally fall out right away. It gives it a little bit, but then that'll slide all the way back. So hopefully if the Ghostbusters themselves come with some traps and things, you'll have a little bit of space to put them over here in the front and then close this up. So I think it looks pretty good. Honestly, I'm pretty happy with it. Let's also try this G.I. Joe figure here actually inside so we can get an idea of how well they will fit. Now you're going to have to navigate around the steering wheel a little bit, but I don't think that should be too difficult. Maybe if I bend him at the knees a little bit. Part of me kind of wishes you could lift the top off just so it would be easier to get figures in here. I'm trying to see if there's any kind of partition in the middle. Really not. It's just the steering wheel. Honestly, from the other side, I don't think it'll be an issue. But yeah, I'm really, maybe straighten out the legs. Maybe we shouldn't bend them. Okay, there we go. Yeah, the steering wheel, like, I appreciate that we need to have a steering wheel, but I really wish that it was a little bit higher up or something, just because this was an even larger problem with the last one they did, and I'll talk about that a little bit later, but you can get him in there. The steering wheel's kind of a pain. If we come at this from the other side, you get this open again. I don't think we'll have any issues getting him to sit in here. Yeah, this is much easier because there's no steering wheel in the way. So, fits in the front passenger, no problem. Let's try him out in these back seats. Now, my fear is that these are a little too close together, and since they're facing each other, I don't know if we'll actually be able to fit two characters in here, but I'm kind of hoping they spot checked all this stuff before they released it, but you never know. So, this one I'm assuming I will have to bend at the knees, although he doesn't like to bend at the knees all that much. And it's possible that the Ghostbusters will be a little smaller than these, and hopefully have better joints, so I'm not willing to write it off completely yet. But yeah, unfortunately his legs are making it so he doesn't want to fit in here whatsoever. Let me put the head in first, maybe. Yeah, so we'll see. Like I said, I'm not willing to write it off completely yet. But if you think about the fact that this is an O-ring G.I. Joe, it should be about the same. And he's really not wanting to cooperate. I mean, I think the head is hitting into the roof. Like, what if I just don't even just try to sit him and just have the legs out the side? Yeah, it's going to be a tight fit. So, I don't know. Like, I really wish they would spot check this stuff better. I don't know how this is going to work with the actual Ghostbuster figures, but you can see there's not a lot of room in between the two seats. And that's what I was worried about. So, we'll see. I don't know. I mean, I could jam him in there, but, like, to have him actually in the seats, I don't know. Again, I'm hoping maybe their heads won't be as big, so it won't be an issue, because they're obviously not going to be wearing helmets. So this might not be the best character to try, but it is the one I had handy. So... okay, so if I just have him, like, with his feet up on the other chair, he fits. So we'll see. We'll see how the other, when we actually get the real Ghostbusters, like I said, hopefully their heads will be a little smaller, so maybe it won't be an issue. We can fit characters in here, but not as easily as I would like. But there it is. That's about how they fit in there. But before we finish this up, I do want to do a comparison with the last one that they did. So if you remember, back when Afterlife came out, they did another Ecto-1 as part of the Plasma Series, and that was obviously more patterned off how the Ecto-1 looked in Afterlife. I believe it's the same mold. I really don't think they did much. You can tell that this one was obviously meant to look more worn down. It's got the mud splatter here on the front, whereas this one is the crisp white, still looking very nice because it's, you know, from '84 when they were actually using it. So I don't think this is a new mold. So if you have this one and you're okay with it, you might not necessarily need this one, but there are some subtle changes. So as you can see from the front here, the molding is pretty much identical. I don't think anything different is going on there. These pieces are the same. The light bars are pretty much the same. These flood lamps here on the front, also pretty much the same down here as well. If we come to the sides, you'll notice that on this one, the ladder is on this side, whereas on this one, the ladder has been moved on to the opposite side. This piece is pretty similar, although here it's just molded completely in red, whereas this one it was molded in red but then painted. This little part right here. These appear to be very similar, just, you know, little different colored plastic. I will say from this one, the steering wheel, and you're not going to be able to see it, but the steering wheel here was much larger. And that was something when I tried to put some 3 3/4 inch figures in this steering wheel was definitely too big, and that was a real problem, and I really ran into a lot of issues trying to get characters to fit in there. This one does appear to be smaller, and a little bit higher up, so I feel like they were really trying, but I feel like we should have just, there's no reason the wheel needs to be that big. Again, I don't know if they're going for realism with the kind of GM car that this is, the old ambulance, but they could have just shrunken this a little bit, or just moved it up a little bit, because like I said, we're going to run into problems. I think this one will be better, though. This one was definitely larger and was more of a problem. This one, they at least, it seems like they attempted to make it smaller, because they knew that was going to be an issue. So I do appreciate that they attempted to kind of make that smaller. Does this one have the paint on the inside of the door? Yeah, it does. So this one has... Now, obviously, it's duller colors because it's meant to look more worn down. If we're looking at the back of these, they appear to be pretty much identical if we open up the doors here. Now, obviously, there was no gurney included with the one from Afterlife. So let me get these open. This one had the tiny little, like, remote control trap, because that was something that they were using. And you can see here that it looks like the equipment on the side is very different. Now this one also had the 2 seats, and I'll get into that in a minute, but they were very different. Again, the equipment here on the side is different. So if you can see that that is definitely molded differently. And then over here on the side, this was a lot more built up. And again, I apologize, I'm not showing this off fantastically, but let me see if I can move this and get some better light in here. So you can see that equipment on the side was definitely different. And then there was just a little spot here for this to peg in. You can see that there's just like a little peg right there, and this just pegged onto that. Like that. So I think the gurney would probably still fit in this one. Yeah, I mean, the gurney could still fit in that one if you removed the trap. So that is an option if you like this one better and you have both of them. But we'll put that back in. Now the other thing is, and I don't know how well you'll be able to see this, but let me put this back in. So, as we saw with the new one, this door opens and it has the 2 seats facing each other. With this one, because of Afterlife, this had the door that opened in the other direction. So this actually folded all the way back like this, and then you had the little seat that pulled out and flipped around, and then had like the tiniest little proton wand that would fold down. But if you look, there was a seat, and this is going to be very hard to see. Maybe if I can rotate this out of the way here. There was a seat back there, and there was a seat right here. Now, they're very difficult to utilize because, like, that seat had nowhere for leg room. The character would definitely have to have their legs all the way out. And this one would have to kind of barely fit in this space. But then as this slides back in, it would run into the same problem the new one has, where the 2 chairs are facing each other, and there's a very small area here for 2 characters' legs to fit there. I really don't think that would work. So it seems like there was a little bit more room in this one because of the way that the door opened and the seat came out. But this one has the gurney, which will store their proton packs. Now, the other thing I worry about, and again, I don't know if they've spot checked this or not, but when the proton packs are on the gurney in there, will they clear? Will the roof be too small? I don't know. So we'll have to wait and see how that works out. But I'm worried that you put all the proton packs in here, go to slide this in, and then they don't clear the door. So only time will tell on that. I'm really hoping that, and honestly, it almost seems like these Ghostbusters should be more like 3.5 inches tall to fit in this. So I don't know, but it's definitely the same mold. So if you have the Plasma Series Ecto-1 from Afterlife, it is the same base mold. There are differences. Obviously, the side doors are different because that has the open the other way with the pull-out seat. This one just opens like a normal door and has 2 seats. Again, I'll have to wait and see how the characters fit in there. The equipment that's built into the sides of the back are different. The gurney looks like it could fit in either one. If you wanted to use that remote control trap with this one, you probably could. And then a few subtle differences in paint applications up here as well. very similar for the most part. I would say this being painted versus this being painted, and like it's painted here, not painted here. This is not painted here. This is painted here. These are pretty much the same. So if you have this one already and you just want to get the figures and you don't really feel like buying the new one, you could probably get away with utilizing this one. Like I said, the steering wheel is definitely bigger and that's going to be a problem. But maybe you could fit more of the characters in the back, because it seems like maybe this has a little bit more of the area in the back utilized a little better. I don't know. So it's up to you, but I wanted to at least compare them, because my first question when I saw this was, is it just this again? And yeah, kind of, but there are some differences. So, is this worth picking up? I think it's going to depend on a couple different things. One, do you already have the one from Afterlife? If you have the one from Afterlife already, I think you could get by using that one and not picking up this one if you're still looking to pick up those 3 3/4 inch O-ring figures. I think they'll still work decently with that one. Now, that being said, it is the Afterlife Ecto-1, so it has the weathered, dirty look to it. It has the different door. The equipment is a little different in the back. You know, the ladder's on the other side. There are a few subtle differences. For me personally, I do like the cleaner look to the Ecto-1, how it looked when they were actually using it in circulation back in the original movie. So I like this look to it. Now, I still like the Afterlife one as well, but I prefer this version. If they had done it the other way and I had bought this one first and then they had done the Afterlife one, I probably would not have bought both. But since they did it this way, I do like this kind of cleaner, more classic look to the Ecto-1. That's just my personal preference. When it comes to those O-ring Ghostbusters, we're going to have to wait and see, because I don't think they're going to be as compatible with this as I would like. I think fitting them on the passenger side won't be an issue. That steering wheel, like I said, it's smaller than the Afterlife version. I still think it's going to be a problem, but hopefully it'll be less of a problem trying to get a character in there to drive. In here, I think it's going to be an issue because with the Afterlife one, there was kind of a seat on the side. There was a seat here. This seat pulled out, so you had a little bit better access to get in there. I think fitting figures on these two seats is going to be very difficult because there's not a lot of room in between them. They're facing each other, and I just think that's going to be an issue. I don't know why they didn't just kind of do two seats like on the complete opposite, like put one here, put another one back here, make both doors open, and then move this equipment over to this side. I just think that would have made a lot more sense. The figures would have had more leg room. It wouldn't have been an issue to get characters in and out, and I don't know why they didn't do that. I do think the gurney is a nice addition. Again, that's something that the Afterlife one did not have. That one had the little remote control trap, which is also kind of neat. But I think the gurney is a nice addition. I am worried that when we put the 4 proton packs on there and we try to slide it in, is it going to clear the roof or the door? I'm very worried about that because I really don't think they spot checked this at all. I think they took something they already had and they just thought, oh, we can kind of make it work. I think what they should have done is taken the Afterlife one and upscaled it just a little bit. I think it needed to be upscaled just a little bit so the characters fit in all the seats a little bit better so that there's no problem storing all the equipment. I just kind of wish that they upscaled it a little bit. Now, this thing is on Pulse right now. It is $60, which seems like a lot. You could probably wait for a sale. I don't really see this thing flying off the shelves. Well, the shelves has Pulse exclusive, I believe. But yeah, I think you could probably wait for a sale, especially if you already have the Afterlife one. I think it's definitely worth waiting for a sale. I do like this one better than, like, they both offer different things, because I do feel like the slide out seat and that kind of stuff on the Afterlife one is very cool. But on this one, I like the cleaner look. I like the gurney. So there are pluses and minuses to both of them. But $60 is still a lot. I have no idea what the 4 O-ring Ghostbusters are going to cost. Probably close to 60 as well, if not more. In any case, I think this is a cool Ecto-1, but I really think that they should have upscaled it a little bit. The detail is there. I mean, aesthetically, it looks fantastic. The white's bright, the paint applications are sharp, all the metallic silver looks really good. You know, detailing the inside of the doors, I think, looks fantastic. All of the equipment pieces up here, the equipment pieces inside, they're all very nicely detailed. Aesthetically, I think it's phenomenal. When it comes to displaying it with the Ghostbusters, I think that'll scale well. Like, if you really just want to put this on a shelf and put the 4 Ghostbusters in front of it, I think that's going to look phenomenal. I think they're going to be the right size. I think they're going to scale well with it in terms of standing next to it. Fitting them inside it, I think is going to be where we have a problem. I think that's where the difficulties are going to come in, and we just have to wait and see. I don't know, maybe they'll downscale them ever so slightly to make them work a little better with this. And maybe that was the thing. Maybe it was easier for them to use this as is and maybe make them closer to 3.5 instead of 3 3/4 inch to make them compatible with this. Maybe that's the play. But if they're going to be true 3 3/4 inch figures, I really think they should have upscaled this just a tiny bit. This just needs to be a little bigger, and then I think it would be perfect. That's really my only... And again, I can't really complain about it yet because I don't know if it's going to be an issue. I have to wait until those Ghostbusters come out. But again, using that G.I. Joe, who was a 3 3/4 inch O-ring, now he did have a big head and a helmet, and that caused some problems, so maybe that won't be an issue with the Ghostbusters. And just some of the spots, the steering wheel, these two chairs here, I think it's going to be kind of difficult to fit them inside. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Do you have the Afterlife one? Are you getting this one? Did you pass on that one and you're thinking about this one? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope I was able to answer some questions that you guys will probably have, because I know I had questions when this was first shown off. And I feel like those questions have been answered. So again, let me know what you think in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. And as always, thank you so much for watching.